Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Number 83. 83. Tatat Sila. Ajiva Parisuddhi Sila. In the Ajiva Parisuddhi Sila, like conclusion here, now as regard the what? The evil state beginning with. So in the Pali text, it was mentioned the evil state beginning with what are the evil states. So here the commentator said, the what beginning with should be understood to include the many evil states. There are many kinds of evil states given in the Brahmachala Sutta in the way beginning. So here some are mentioned here, or just as some worthy ascetic while eating the food given by faithful, make a living by wrong livelihood. What are wrong livelihood? Here mentioned by such low as these, that is to say, here mentioned by parliamentary. By parliamentary, we do not search requisites. So that is here. By parliamentary, this also around livelihood. And then now by fortune telling. By fortune telling, we should not accept 4 kinds of requisites. So if we accept the requisites by fortune telling, this around livelihood. And then by divining omens, by interpreting dreams, marks of the body, posed not by mice, by fire sacrifice, by spool obligation, etc. So here the commentator mentioned some kinds of wrong livelihood according to Brahmachala Sutta. And then paragraph number 84, conclusion. Conclusion for paragraph number 84, yes. Paragraph number 84, conclusion for livelihood purification, Ajiva Parisuddhi Sila. So here in the Ajiva Parisuddhi Sila here, paragraph number 84. So this livelihood entails the transgression of the 6 training precepts announced on account of livelihood. So 6 kinds of training precepts already explained. So that is why, as a conclusion, the commentator said again here. And then another one. And it entails the evil states. What are the evil states here? Beginning with scheming. By scheming, we do not receive requisites. So by scheming, this also wrong livelihood. Scheming and also talking, sometimes talking, they are also wrong livelihood. And so hinting, the third one, and then the 4th one, belittling, and then the 5th one, pursuing gain with gain. These 5 kinds of things, the commentator already explained very detailed. So as a conclusion here, he said again here 5 kinds of things: scheming, talking, hinting, and belittling, persuade gain with gain. Let's continue. And then end. So it is the abstinence from all sort of wrong livelihood. We have to abstain from all sort of wrong livelihood. That is virtue of livelihood purification, Ajiva Parisuddhi Sila. Let's continue. the word meaning of which is this. On account of it, they live. Thus, it is livelihood. According to grammatical way, he explained. It is that. It is the effort concerning and the search for requisites. So, especially to get livelihood, the virtue of livelihood purification, especially the effort. We need the effort. So that is why here I mentioned it is the effort consistent in search for requisites. So purification is purifiedness. So that is why livelihood purification is purification of livelihood. So in this way, the commentator Bhantes, he explained that virtue, that sila, the value of livelihood purification. So after that one, let's go the fourth one. The fourth one here I mentioned number 85. Paragraph number 85. Paragraph number 85, again here the commentator Venerable Bhantes, he explained in the previous Venerable Bhantes, he explained there are 4 kinds of virtue. They are Padimokkha Samvara Sila, Iniriya Samvara Sila, Ajiva Parisodhi Sila, and then Picaya Sanisida Sila. So now Picaya Sanisida Sila, paragraph number 85D. That means the Venerable Bhantes, firstly he mentioned requisites, especially for the man, as regard the next. The kind called value concerning requisites. Especially for the Venerable monk, there are 4 kinds of requisites. So to purify our value concerning requisites, Picaya Sanisida Sila. Picaya Sanisida Sila, the Buddha allowed to accept the requisites. But when we use these requisites, at that time, we have to reflect wisely. We have to reflect wisely whenever we use these 4 kinds of requisites. So that is why in the paragraph number 85, here in the commentator, he mentioned rope, etc. So here, that translator, he mentioned completely the Pali text, how to reflect requisites wisely. So that is why here mentioned. Firstly, here is the text from the Pali text, original Pali text. Original Pali text here mentioned, reflecting wisely, he used the meditator. The meditator uses. The meditator uses the rope. So when the meditator uses the rope, at that time he have to reflect wisely. To reflect. When he used the rope, so that is why here I mentioned, reflecting wisely, he uses the rope only for the protection from heat. So that means we use the rope. Why do we use the rope? Yeah, only for the protection from cold. This is the first reason why does the meditator use? Why does the bhikkhu use the rope? Yeah, the first reason. The first reason only for the protection from cold. And then the second reason, why does the meditator use the rope? For protection from heat. This is the second reason for protection from heat. The third reason for protection from contact with bad flies, wind, burning, and creeping things. So this is the third reason. But the main reason, the last one is the main reason, important reason why the meditator use the rope. Yeah. The meditator uses rope only for the purpose of concealing the private parts. So the main reason why did the bhikkhu use the rope? So that is why, especially for bhikkhu yogi, not only bhikkhu yogi, but also lay yogi, they can reflect. In Pali language, Padisanga Yoni So, Jiwaram, Padisewami, etc. And also, as an English language, they can reflect. And so in your mother language, you can reflect wisely. So here, this one is translated from original Pali text. So that is why for the first requisite, Jiwara, the Buddha mentioned. In the Jiwara, there are 4 kinds of reason. In the 4 kinds of reason, the first reason is the most important one, or the main reason why does the bhikkhu use the rope requisite. This is the first one, the first requisite. Let's go to the second requisite. The second requisite. What is the second requisite? Here mentioned, reflecting wisely, he uses unfood Pindapata. So when we use the unfood requisite, or whenever we have means, at that time we have to reflect wisely. So and then when we reflect at that time, why does the bhikkhu use unfood? So here I mentioned, neither for amusement. Yeah, the first reason. The first reason. The meditator use unfood not for amusement. This is the first one. And then the second one, not for intoxicant. The third one, not for smartening. The fourth one, not for embellishment. So here, there are 4 kinds of reason. We use unfood not for these 4 things, these 4 kinds of reason. So, for what does the Venerable use unfood? So let's continue. Let's continue. First reason. What for they use unfood? But here, let's go the first one. Only for the endurance. The first one. Only for the endurance of this body. The first reason. Previous, not for 4 reasons. Here, only for another reason. So that is why, let's say here, one, only for endurance. Then the second one, only for continuance of this body. Let's say here, there are 2 kinds of reason. The first one, only for endurance of this body. The second one, only for the continuance of this body. The third one, for the ending of discomfort. If we do not have lunch, or if we do not have meat at that time, we may feel discomfort. So that is why for the ending of discomfort. This is the third reason. And then the fourth reason, for the assisting the life of purity, Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, later the commenter he will explain what is Brahmacharya. Here mentioned translation, life of purity. For assisting the life of purity, this is the fifth reason. And then another reason, if we use harmful at the time, thus I put a stop to all. So we can say here the fifth reason, to stop the old reason, the old feeling, the old disease, etc. And then another reason, the sixth one, cannot arouse new feeling. New feeling. Let's go another reason. The seventh reason, I shall be healthy. So to be healthy, we use harmful. And then another one, the eighth reason, I shall be blameless. So when we use harmful at that time, the other person maybe blame. Why do you use harmful at that time? We have such a kind of reason. At that time, we shall be blameless. And then number 9, the last one, I shall live in comfort. Pasuviharo. So that is why here for the rope. Firstly, not for 4 kinds of reason. And then only for another 9 kinds of reason. Altogether, 30 kinds of reason when we use harmful. Why do we use harmful? Yeah, the Buddha mentioned why do we use harmful? At that time, we have 30 kinds of reason. We have to reflect whenever we use harmful. So that is why, especially in the dining hall, before we always recite Pali language, Patisankha Yoniso, Painabadam, Patisiwami, etc. Here in the translation from original text. And also traditionally in Myanmar, every monastery, every meditation center, they recite as Myanmar. They reflect. So that is the second requisite, harmful. Harmful, whatever you use, you have to make reflex wisely. So the first requisite, rope. The second requisite, harmful. Let's go to the third requisite. What is the third requisite? Resting place, sinasana. So that is why resting place also, when we use resting place, sinasana, at that time we have to reflect wisely. So that is why here, reflecting wisely. He uses the resting place. Here also mentioned the reason. Why does the meditator use the resting place? Here the first reason. Only for the purpose of protection from cold. The second reason, for the protection from heat. The third reason, for the protection from contact with cat flies, wind, burning, and creeping things. And the last reason, only for the purpose of warding off the perilous climates and enjoying retreat. So the last reason is the main reason or the important reason when we use the resting place, Senasana. Here also as a language, Padisanga, Yoni, so Senasana, Siwami, etc. We can reflect as Pali language, English language, or your mother tongue. And then let's go to the last one. The last requisite. The last requisite, medicine. So medicine also, whenever we use, we have to reflect. So here medicine, reflect them wisely. He uses the requisites of medicine as cure for the sick. So here two kinds of reason. The first reason, only for protection from arising harmful feeling. The first reason. The second reason, for complete immunity from affliction. So here, the quotation he mentioned here from the Majjhima Nikaya. Majjhima Nikaya mentioned. So these are Pali texts. These are Pali texts. These Pali texts will be explained, will be commented by Venerable Bodhisattva with the following paragraph. That's the following paragraph. Firstly, for the Jivara. First requisite for the Jivara, paragraph number 85, 86. Yeah, 86 to 88. 86 to 88. These are the explanation of the first requisite, Jivara. So with paragraph number 86 to 88, Venerable Bodhisattva, he explained the first requisite. Let's go for the second requisite. Second requisite, paragraph number 89. Paragraph number, yes, 18. Paragraph number 89 to 94. Paragraph number 89 to 94. With this paragraph, the Venerable Bodhisattva, he explained the second requisite. For the third requisite, depends on previous Pali text. The Venerable Bodhisattva, he make comment, he will explain the third requisite with paragraph number 95. 95, resting place. 95. 96, 96, 97, yes, 96 and 97. With 96 and 97, Venerable Bodhisattva, he explained the last requisite, medicine, requisite of medicine. So that is why first, let's go back again, paragraph number 85, the Pali text. 85 Pali text, paragraph number 85 Pali text. From the Majjhima Nikaya. From the Majjhima Nikaya, the Pali text depends on this Pali text. The Venerable Bodhisattva, he will explain here after quotation Majjhima Nikaya, paragraph number 85. Quotation from the Majjhima after Majjhima Nikaya, herein. Yeah, herein means in the Majjhima Nikaya or in the four kinds of requisite. In the four kinds of requisite, and wisely, Padisanga Yonis or the Pali word. What is the meaning of Padisanga Yonis? Reflecting wisely. The Pali word, Padisanga Yonis. The meaning of Padisanga Yonis. So in the Pali text, the Buddha mentioned reflecting wisely and Patisangha Yoniso. What is the meaning of reflecting wisely? What is the meaning of Patisangha Yoniso? At that time, the Venerable Buddha, he said, reflecting wisely and Patisangha Yoniso is reflecting as the means and as the way. As the mean and as the way. By knowing, by reviewing, is the meaning. The Venerable Buddha's explanation. As the meaning, as the way, what are they? So in the footnote, it was mentioned. Patisangha Yoniso, for the Patisangha Yoniso. Footnote number 27. For attention, Manasi Kara, or Yoniso Manasi Kara, Patisangha Yoniso. As the means, Manasi Kara is the means, Ubaya, Ubayena. Ubaya means, and the way, Patena. So here, in the Buddha he mentioned, Patisangha Yoniso, here means, Ubayena, Patena, means and way, as the means and as the way. By knowing, by reviewing. So we have to reflect wisely. We have to reflect by knowing, by reviewing. This is the meaning of Patisangha Yoniso. And continue. And here, it is the reviewing stated in the way beginning for protection from cold that should be understood as reflecting wisely. So that is the meaning of Patisangha Yoniso. Patisangha Yoniso. This Pali word we can find in not only in the Jiwara but also the other requisites and the 4 kinds of requisites. Patisangha Yoniso. Now after Patisangha Yoniso, paragraph number 86. Paragraph number 86, hearing. Okay, here. Rope, Jiwara. The rope, Jiwara. What is Jiwara? The meaning of Jiwara or the rope. Jiwara, here mentioned, Jiwara is any one of those beginning with the inner clause. So inner clause, the outer clause, and also double clause, inner rope, outer rope, double rope, especially for the monk. Jiwara. And also the meditator, their clothes also can be here as a Jiwara. And then he uses the meditator uses the rope. The in Pali we have Patisangha Yoniso, Jiwara, Patisewami, Patisewati here. The persons here, he, the meditator. So that is why the meditator uses. So Patisewati, what is Patisewati? He employing dresses in the inner clothes or put on in the upper garment, etc. So that is the meaning of Patisewami. And then another one, only the Pali word is Yawa Deva. Patisangha Yoniso Jiva Patisewami Yawa Deva. Yawa Deva, the Pali word is translated as only. Yawa Deva, subsequently they recite Yawa Deva. But actually we can recite Yawa Deva. Yawa Deva. Only, what is the meaning of only? What is Yawa Deva? Here is the phrase signifying invariability in the definition of a limit of purpose. So Yawa Deva. So the purpose or the reason, the limited purpose. So that's why I continue. The purpose in the meditators making use of the rope is that much only, namely protection from cold, etc. So this is Yawa Deva. The Pali word Yawa Deva only. That means he used the rope only protection from cold, etc. Not more than that. This is the meaning of only the meaning of Yawa Deva. And then another one in the Pali text, Siddhasa. Prisanga Yoni so Jivaram Bhatisewami Yawa Deva Siddhasa. Siddhasa, the Pali word translated from cold. What is the meaning of Siddhasa? What is the meaning of from cold? Yeah, from any kinds of cold arising either through disturbance of elements internally or through charge and temperature externally. It's a Siddhasa from cold. So that is why the Venerable Dhammapada, he used the rope only for protection from cold. And then another one, for protection. For protection. Patikādāya. Siddhasa Patikādāya. After Siddhasa here, Patikādāya. The meaning of Patikādāya. Yes, protection. Patikādāya. Here, the meaning of Patikādāya for protection means for the purpose of warding off, for the purpose of eliminating it, so that it may not arouse affliction in this body. For protection from contact with gut flying, etc. So this is the meaning. So continue. For when the body is afflicted by cold, at that time, the distracted mind, we cannot concentrate at that time, the distracted mind cannot be wisely exerted at that time. When we practice Vipassana meditation at that time, sometimes we may not continue to practice meditation. So that is why the Blessed One, the Buddha, permit the rope to be used. So why did the Buddha permit the rope? So in that time, some person, so they do not use any kinds of rope. So that is why other teaching, but in the teaching of the Buddha, why did the Buddha permit to use the rope? So that is why here I mentioned. That is why the Blessed One permit the rope to be used for protection from cold. So in each instance, except that from heat, mean from heat of fire, etc. And then the origin. Here the Pali word is Sambhava, the Pali word translates here origin. But it should be happening instead of origin. Happening occurrence. The occurrence of which should be understood as forest fire and so on. These are from heat. So in this way, we should understand. So according to Bhantes, Patisanga Yoni so Jiva Patisewami Yawa Deva Siddhasa Patikādāya Omnasa Patikādāya Dhansa Makasa. Let's continue. Another one. Dhansa Makasa. paragraph number 87. From contact with gut flies and flies when and banning of creeping things. That origin. The Baliwa, Dansa, Megasa, Wada Dapa, Sarisaba, Sampasana. The translation. From contact with gut flies and flies when and banning and creeping things. So in the Venerable Dr. continue here. Gut flies, Dansa. Gut flies are flies that bite. They are also called blind fly. This is the meaning of dancer, gut fly. After dancer, another one, megasa. What is megasa or flying? Flies are just flies. And then wadaba. Wadadaba is a two Paliwa, wada and adaba. Here, wada. Wada, sometimes wayo, wind. Wind is distinguishes as that wind, gas and that without gas. And then banana, adaba, wadadaba. Yeah. Banana is the Baliwa, adaba is banana of the sun. And then creepy things, what are creepy things are any long creatures such as snake and so on that move by crawling. And then contact with them is of two kinds. There are two kinds of contacts. The first one, connect by being bitten. By being bitten, the first contact. The second one, connect by being touched. So there are two kinds of contacts. And that does not worry him who sit with etc. So when we use rope, we do not have such a kind of worry. So he used it for the purpose of protection from such things. So let's continue. The last reason. When we use the rope requests, we have four kinds of reason. Now the last reason or the main reason. The last reason or the main reason. Here also again only Yawa Dewa. Because the main purpose or the main reason. Only, so that is right. The what is. Yawa Dewa only what is repeated in order to define subdivision of in a very evil purpose. So that is why for the concealment of the part is in a very evil purpose. It's a main purpose or main reason. Why do we use the rope? So the other three reasons are purpose periodically, not always. Sometimes. So that is why when we use rope request, there are four kinds of reason. The last reason is in a very evil purpose, main purpose. The other three reasons are purpose periodically. This is the meaning. Let's continue the last purpose. Hearing. Private part, the Baliwa. Iriko Bina. Iriko Bina. The commentator, Venerable Dokosa, he want to explain this word, private part or Iriko Bina. Iriko Bina's private part are any part of Buddhism. For when a member is disclosed, conscience, hiri, is disturbed. Kopati, the Baliwa. Kopati, offend. And then it is called private part, hiriko bina. The Baliwa, hiriko bina. Because of the disturbing of conscience, Hiri Kopana. Two Paliwa. The first one, Hiri. The second one, Kopana. So that is one of the original Pali text. For the purpose of concealing the private parts, so that is for the purpose of the concealment of those private parts as well as the reading. Hiri ko pina padicha danatan. So the first version is the first version. Hiri ko pina padicha danatan. And then another version here also the commentator Venerable Buddha mission there is a reading. Hiri ko pina padicha danatan. So firstly, normally we recite the first one. Continuous word. That's the only one word. We call being Danatan. But if you want to recite two part at that time, you can also recite called Binang Danatan. So different version also here the commentator mentioned. So this is explanation of the first requisite Jiwara. The commentators what? For the first requisite Jiwara or rope. After first requisite, let's go to the second requisite. And the second requisite, and food. And the original Pali text, the Buddha already mentioned, when we use and food, at that time, we have 30 kinds of reason. So 30 kinds of reason. So let's go, paragraph number 89 for the second requisite. And food. And food, the Pali word, Pinda Pada. Pinda Pada, the Pali word Pinda Pada is translated as and food. Alms food is any sort of food. For any sort of nutriment, it's called and food. Pinda Pada, Pali word. The Pali word Pinda Pada. Literally translation Pinda Pada, lamp, dropping. Pinda, lamp. Pada, dropping. Because of it having been dropped, Pinda Pada, in a bhikkhu's bowl during his rounds. When he goes rounds, these foods is dropped in our bowls. So that is why they are called Pinda Pada. This is the first meaning. The first meaning of Pinda Pada. And then another one, or and food. Pinda Pada is the dropping Pada of lamb. Pinda. It is the concurrence. Nibbada. The collection of Bhikkhā obtained here and there is what is meant. The meaning of Pinda Pada. Firstly, the Venerable Buddha explain. So here the Buddha permit bhikkhu to use and food. So at that time, when we use and food, at that time, we have to reflect wisely. So there is why, firstly, the Buddha mentioned first reason here, neither for amusement. We should not use and food for amusement. That is the first reason. Yeah, but neither for amusement. Pali word. Newa dawaya. Newa dawaya, neither for amusement. What is the meaning of neither for amusement? Neither for the purpose of amusement, as with a village wine, etc. For the sake of sport is what is meant. The first reason. Let's continue the second reason. The second reason, not for intoxication. Namadaya. Not for intoxication. Namadaya. For that reason also the Venerable Bodhisattva he made comment. Not for purpose of intoxication as with the bhoksas, etc. For the sake of intoxication with the strength, and for the sake of intoxication with the manhood is what is meant. So that is why whenever we use food, we have to reflect. Niwa namadaya. Namadaya. Meditator or the bhikkhu should not use food for intoxication. That's the reason. Let's continue. That reason. No for smartening. Not mandanaya. Not mandanaya, not for smartening. Not for the purpose of smartening, as with riot, concubines, courtesies, etc. For the sake of plumpness in all the land, it is what is meant. So that is why here also the bhikkhu or the meditator should not use for smartening. Let's continue the fourth reason. Not for embellishment. Not for embellishment. Not for the purpose of embellishment, as with actors, etc. For the sake of clear skins and complexion is what is meant. So the bhikkhu or the monk or the meditator should not use food for embellishment. So that is why whenever they use food, they have to reflect this way. So there are four kinds of reason not to use food. So for that one, continue the Venerable Bodhisattva. For these four kinds of reason, we continue. Paragraph number 19. And here, clause neither for amusement is stated for the purpose of abandoning support for delusion, moha. So especially abandoning support for delusion. And then another one. Nor for intoxication is said for the purpose of abandoning support for hatred, dosa. First one, delusion, moha. The second one, for hatred, dosa. And then let's continue. Nor for smartening, nor for embellishment is said for the purpose of abandoning support for green, lobha. Now to appear delusion, hatred or hate, and green. Other than the meditator or the bhikkhu, he have reflex whenever they use food. And then let's continue. And neither for amusement nor for intoxication is said for the purpose of preventing the arising of factors for oneself. Factor sanyojana. So that being, some person they may attach by themselves. So that is why here, for the purpose of preventing the arising of factors for oneself. And another one, not for smartening, nor for embellishment is said for the purpose of preventing the arising of factors for others. That the other person they may not attach the bhikkhu or the meditator. Let's continue. And the abandoning of both unwise practice. Unwise practice, ionical patipatiya. Unwise practice and devotion to indulgence of sense. Kamasukhanika yoga. Indulgence of sense pleasures should be understood and stated by these four. So by these four kinds of reason. By these four kinds of reason, we should understand. In this way, abandoning of both unwise practice, ioniso manasikara, and also division of indulgence of sense, pleasure, kamasukhanika yoga. And then aim only previous already explained again in the Bheda only Yawa Deva. Only Yawa Deva mean has the meaning already stated. This one is already explained. Yawa Deva only. So let's continue paragraph number 91. This so Pina Badamadi Siwami Niwa Oya Na Medaya Na Mandanaya Na Usanaya Yawa Deva. Imasa Kayasa of this body. Of this body. Imasa Kayasa. Of this material body consisting of four great primary. Our body. Very clear. For the endurance, another reason. So we should use Anfu for the endurance of this body. For the endurance of our body. So that is why here endurance, Tidiya. For the purpose of continuous endurance. And another reason, and continuing yapanaya, the continuing of our body. We are also for the purpose of not interrupting life continuing occurrence, or for the purpose of endurance for a long time. So he makes use of Anfu, or the meditator makes use of Anfu for the purpose of endurance, for the purpose of continuance of the body. So we use Anfu for endurance of our body, for continuance of our body. So in this way, we use Anfu here simply mentioned as the owner of all house. The owner of all house has the prop for his house. The owner of all house, his house is very old. Other than he used prop to his house. Also another simile, as the cutter use excel grease. So and not further purpose of amusement again, intoxication, smarting, and embellishment. And then furthermore, enduring is a term for the life faculty. So what has been said as far as the what for endurance and continuance of this body can be understood to mean also for the purpose of maintaining the occurrence of life faculty in this body. So that is why if we do not have me, so we cannot continue our life. So that is when we use Anfu for the endurance and continuance of our body. And this will help you reflect. So now here there are two kinds of reason for endurance and then continuance. Let's continue another reason. Why do we use harmful? Another reason, paragraph number 93 and 92. For the ending or discomfort, why do we use harmful? We use harmful for the ending or discomfort. And the Buddha reach. So what is the meaning of for the ending or discomfort? Here, hunger is called discomfort. And the sense of affliction. So he makes use of harmful for the purpose of ending that hunger. Like anointing the wound. We use harmful. Why do we use harmful here? Like anointing the wound. Like another counteracting with cold and so on. So that is why not appear hunger. We use harmful. So that is why this reason the meditator, the bhikkhu, use harmful not for harmful for the ending or discomfort. That's reason. Let's continue another reason. The fourth one. For assisting life of beauty, Brahmacharya Nogahaya. Brahmacharya Nogahaya. What is the meaning of Nogahaya? For assisting the life of purity. For assisting the life of purity, the Venerable Buddha comment. For the purpose of assisting the life of purity, consistent in the whole dispensation, Buddha Sasana. And then the life of purity consistent in the but mega. So for the dispensation, use harmful. And also for the but to practice meditation. Finally, to reach path mega, we use harmful. This here mentioned the life of purity. The life of purity mean Brahmacharya mean dispensation. And the whole dispensation. And the second one, the life of purity consistent in the path. So in Pali we call Brahmacharya, two kinds of Brahmacharya. Sasana Brahmacharya. The second one, Mega Brahmacharya. So that is why here mentioned the first Brahmacharya. Life purity consistent in the whole dispensation is Sasana Brahmacharya. The second one, the life of purity consistent in the path, Mega Brahmacharya. There are two kinds of Brahmacharya. There are two kinds of life of purity. So that is why we use harmful for assisting the life of purity, consistent in the whole dispensation and the life of purity consistent in the path. Let's continue. For why this bhikkhu, this meditator, is engaged in consistent desires of existence by means of devotion to the three training depending on bodily strength, whose necessary condition is the use of food. He makes use of it as assists the life of purity. He mentioned just as those seeking to cross the desert use their child's flesh. Buddha Mansubama. He also mentioned in the footnote number 29, yes. Yeah, child's flesh, child Buddha, flesh Mansa. So we have Sutta, Buddha, Mansuba, Sutta. This is just simile, not real story. Sometimes Some person they made it the real story, not the real story. So Chinese flesh Buddha Mansa Ubama, Buddha Mansa Ubama, that means the simile. It's an illusion to the story. Niranawaka Sayuda Bali. Niranawaka Sayuda Bali, here mentioned of the couple who set out across the desert with insufficient food, flying, but God do the other side by eating the flesh of their child who dying on the way. So that is why here also we trying to cross. We trying to cross around of samsara with practice meditation. When we try to cross around of samsara, at that time we use food. Like here, first. Buddha, like the Buddha Mansubaba Sutta. And then let's continue. After Chinese flesh, just as those seeking to cross the river use a raft. He also Sutta, Lagadu Bama Sutta, etc. When we want to cross the river at that time, we use the raft. And the same way, when we cross around the samsara by practicing with meditation, at that time we use food as a raft. So, and another simile, just as those seeking across the ocean use a ship. So in this way, we can understand. Here, paragraph number 91, first reason, second reason, 92, the third reason, and then the fourth reason, and then 92, for assisting of the life unity. Left paragraph number 93, the fifth reason. Why do we use food? So firstly, the Bali text that I shall put a stop to all feeling. So we use food. So because we at that time we can stop all feeling. Purana Vedana. And also another reason shall not arouse new feeling. So the first one, all feeling, the second one, new feeling. What is old feeling? What is new feeling? He will explain old and new feeling. What is old feeling? What is new feeling? Thus, as a sick man use medicine. He uses harmful thinking. So we use harmful like the medicine. I use all this harmful, I shall put a stop to the old feeling of hunger. Hunger is old feeling. If we do not have meaning at that time, we will have hunger. The feeling of hunger is called here old feeling. And then I shall not arouse a new feeling. This a new feeling here mentioned by immoderate eating. If we eat too much at the time, we will have new feeling. So that is why he mentioned immoderate eating. Immoderate eating. So if you eat too much, so at that time you will have new feeling. So here mentioned immoderate eating. To explain immoderate eating here, the Buddha Buddha he mentioned here like one not proverbial Brahmin. In the story, we have there are a person who eat too much the glutton person. So here I mentioned that is the first one. One who is still to be held by hand. So he eats too much, so that is why he cannot stand up. So that is why if he want to stand up, the other person have to help. So that is we call the first person, ahara hataka person, one who eats till he has to be held by hand. The first person. Immoderate eating. Immoderate eating. The second person also the same. One who eat till his clothes were not meat. Because he is too much eating. So at that time, his clothes were not meat. So in Bali, we call this person Langataka person. That one also one who eat till he rolled there. He eat too much, so that's why he cannot stand there. So that he rolled here and there. So he rolled on the ground. So that person. Meditator should not be such a kind of person. And then the fourth person, one who eat till crows came back from his mouth. He eat too much. Nearly his mouth. At that time, the crow came back from his mouth. Other we call this person Masaka person. So the last person, one who eat till he vomit. Yes. The one Midaka person. Four kinds of there are 5 kinds of person. There are 5 kinds of person. The commanded mentioned 5 kinds of person who eat too much at that time. They have new feeling. That's why not to appear, not to arouse new feeling. So at that time, we have to reflect wisely when we use food. So at that time, we may not too much. There's the first explanation for all feeling and feeling. And then another, or alternatively, another way, the commentator Venerable Dr. you want to explain alternatively. Or alternatively, there is that which is called all feeling, because when conditioned by former karma is arise now and dependent on unsuitable immoderate eating. Unsuitable immoderate eating. I shall put a stop to that old feeling for a stealing is conditioned by suitable moderate eating. And there is that which is called new feeling, because it will arise in future independent on accumulation of karma consistent and making improper use of requests and harmful. So now I shall also not arouse that new feeling, widen by means of purpose use the production of its root. So that is how meaning should be understood here. What has been shown so far can be understood include proper use of purposes, abandoning of devotion of self, moderation, modification, and also not giving up lawful pleasure. So that is why here in that paragraph we have two kinds of reason. We have to use harmful to stop all feeling. And also we have to use harmful, not arouse new feeling. The two kinds of reason in that one. Let's continue. Another reason. Paragraph number 94. And I shall be happy. I shall be happy. The best. Yadraja me bhavisati. I shall be happy. In this body, which exists independent on requisite, I shall, by moderate eating, have happy or long enduring, since there will be no danger of suffering the life faculty or interrupting the continuity of the past. So reflecting in this way, he makes use of food as a sufferer. Chronic disease does not gas his medicine. So the assembly also mentioned. So we use amfu. When we use amfu at the time, we are happy. So that is why in this way we should use amfu. Let's continue another reason. Another reason in blameless. Blameless. And then the last reason, live in comfort. So if we use food wisely other than we can live in comfort. And also we will be blameless. The last reason, live in comfort. Literally have the blamelessness and comfortable abiding. Comfortable abiding. The last one. Now, Pasuviharoja. Now, blameless. Pasuviharoja. Live in comfort. So the literally translation, have blamelessness and comfortable abiding. We shall have blamelessness and we shall have comfortable abiding. Continue. He make use of them thinking, I shall have blamelessness, I abiding, improper accepting and eating, so to such the food. So we have to avoid improper sex. And also improper acceptance, improper eating, we have to avoid. And then I shall have comfortable abiding by moderate eating. So in this venerable Dhamma he mentioned. And also another way, or he does so thinking, I shall have blameless due to absence of such faults as boredom, sloth, sleepiness, blames by the wife, etc. So if you do not eat too much after eating, you can continue your meditation. So you do not have any kinds of sloth and sleepiness, etc. So that have unseemly immoderate eating as their condition, and I shall have comfortable abiding by producing bodily strength that has seemingly moderate eating as its condition. So in another way, he continued to explain, or he does so thinking, I shall have blamelessness by abandoning the pleasure of lying down. Yeah, the pleasure of lying down, Saya Sukha. Saya Sukha. Then another one, rolling, Lola Sukha. And then Toba. Toba through refraining from eating and as much as possible to stop the belly. So there is one here. I shall not be blameless by abandoning. We have to abandon four kinds of and three kinds of pleasure. Pleasure lying down, the second one, the pleasure of rolling after eating too much. And then the third one, the pleasure of Papa Maida Sukha. Let's continue. And then I shall have comfortable abiding by controlling the four postures, four kinds of postures, through eating 4 or 5 mouthful less than maximum. So to avoid too much eating at the time, in this way also we can practice. Here mentioned, for it is said, the 4 or 5 lamps still to eat. Let him then end by drinking water. So we should not eat food. So we have to be instead of eating too much, and we have to drinking water. So that is why let him then end by drinking water. For energetics bhikkhus, energetics bhikkhu, energetic bhikkhu, that means the meditator who sent his mind to attainment of nibbana. That's for energetic bhikkhus. The Pali word Pahitata. The Pali word Pahitata we can translate one who has made effort. So here the translator mentioned the energetic bhikkhus. Energetic bhikkhu. The yogi practice vipassana meditation continuously. So that is why he has sent his mind. He has direct his mind to the attainment of nibbana. So to get nibbana, I will practice vipassana meditation continuously. So in this way, yeah, with the stanza. This stanza also famous from the Tiragata, sometimes Benevere Sali. He instructs the meditator with the stanza. With the stanza here mentioned, 4 or 5 lamb stick to eat. Jataro benja alopi. Jataro benja alopi. Alopa. Alopa means lambs. Jataro benja 4 or 5 lambs. Let him then eat by drinking water. The last 4 or 5 lambs you should not eat. Instead of eating them, you have to drink water. So that is, let him then end up by drinking water. So at the time, for energetic bhikkhu, the meditator needs This should suffice to live in comfort. At the time, you continue to practice comfortably. So from the Thera Kata. So at the time, and continue. Now, what has been shown at this point can be understood as design of purpose and then practice of middle way, Mijima Patipata. So Mijima Patipata. Mijima Patipata, that means if you do not eat anything, there's one kind of extreme. And also if you eat too much, it's also one kind of extreme way. So that is why not to appear new the old feeling, also not to arouse new feeling at that time. You have to use moderate eating. So that's the middle way. Without eating any, there's also one extreme way. Eating too much also one extreme way. So that is why we have to use the middle way. So that is why these are the explanation for second and second requisite and for Binabanda from paragraph number 89 to 94. In that second requisite, we are particular for reason. Let's continue that requisite paragraph number 95. That requisite.
Hello, Sayadaw.
Yes.
Yes, some commentaries that says that. So when the bhikkhu eat 4 or 5 spoons, when one spoon, after that he drink the water, and then second spoon he drink water. But here, according to your explanation, he eat 4 or 5 plums still to eat, and then after 4 or 5 plums he drink the water. This is which way the correct sense of it?
Two kinds of explanation.
Yes, two kinds. Some commentary explain.
Yeah. You can choose which one you like.
Yes, Sayadaw.
Let's continue that one. That one only. That one also. Resting place, Sinasana. Sinasana. There are 4 kinds of reasons. The first 3 reasons the same with the rope. So that is why also difficult. Paragraph number 95. Resting place. Firstly, the commentator mentioned according to grammar. The Pali wa Senasana. Senasana can be divided 2 parts, Sena and Asana. So that is why here resting place Senasana. This is bad Sena. And then sit Asana. So that is why Senasana. For wherever one sleeps, Seti, the Pali wa. Whether in a monastery or in a lindung, etc. Many kinds of monastery in the Vinaya route, the Buddha permit. It is bad now. Whenever one sit, one set, asati, sit, nisidati, that is the seat asana. Put together are called here resting place or abode or senasana. Senasana, dwelling place, etc. So the first reason already understand. So that is here the comment I mentioned the last reason. The purpose of warning of the pharaohs for the danger of climate and enjoying retreat. The main reason, the important reason. So that is why as a venerable we have to use the Buddha permit to use Sinasana requisite. So here the climate is in the sense of imperiling Parisahana is peril of climate. Udu Parisaya. Unsuitable climate condition that cause the depression due to bodily affliction can be wiped off by making use of the resting place. It is for the purpose of warding off those and for the purpose of the pleasure or solitude is what is the meaning. And then continue. Of course, the warning of the peril of climate is stated by the phrase protection from cold, etc., etc. too. But just as in the case of making use of the rope, concealment of the private part, it stated in very purpose, while the others periodically purpose. So here, also this last reason should be understood as mentioned with the reference to the variable word of the perils of climate, the main reason. And continue. Or alternatively, this climate of the kind stated just climate, but pharaoh are two kinds. Evidence pharaohs, agada, parisaya, evidence danger. And conceive pharaoh, conceive danger. There are two. Herein, evident pharaohs are lion, tiger, etc. And while conceived pharaohs are green, hatred, hate, and so on. So that is why when a bhikkhu knows and reflects that in making use of the kinds of resting place where these pharaohs do not, owing to get doors and sight of the unsuitable visible object, etc., cause affliction. He can understood as one who reflect wisely, make use of the resting place for the purpose of varying of the pharaohs of climates. And then you may understand not so difficult. Let's go to the last one. The last requisite, paragraph number 96. Basic of medicine. The requisite of medicine for the sick. So here, Kiyuwa, Paliwa, Pichaya, going against. It's the sense of going against. Pati, ayana, illness. And the sense of countering its meaning. This is done for any suitable remedy. It is the medical man's work. Bisakasa kama. Bisakasa kama, bisijan. According to grammatical way he explained, because it is permitted by him. Thus, it is medicine, Besija. So, Besija, Bisaka, the Buddha is great Bisaka. So, in this way, or another one, the cure for the sick itself as medicine is medicine as cure for the sick. Yeah, any work of medicament such as wine, tela, the Baliwa, honey, madu, geese, vanilla, etc., butter, and molasses, as they are mentioned, that is suitable for one who is sick, is what is meant. And then let's continue. Request parikhara. Request parikhara. However, in such passage as is well supplied with the requisite of the CD is equipment in such a passage. So according to grammatical, he explained the chariot, the requisite of virtue, the excess of jhana, the will of energy. It is ointment in such a passage. So make the reference from the Majjhima Nikaya. And also it is as, but here both equipment and accessory are applicable. For that medicine as a cure for the sick is equipment for making life, or it protects by preventing the arising of affliction destructive to life, and it is necessary too because it is instrument for prolonging life. So that is what it is called requisite. So it is medicine as cure for the sick. That is requisite that it is requisite of medicine as cure for the sick. He make use of the requisite of medicine as cure for the sick. Any requisite for long, consistent wine, honey, molasses, ghee, etc. that is allowed by medical man. Medical man, the Buddha, sometimes the Buddha is the Buddha mentioned as a medical man as suitable for the sick. What is meant? And then another two reasons from arising, from arising from become produce harmful. Heartful, yeah, heart affliction is disturbance or element. It is the produce some kinds of disease originated by the disturbance. And then harmful, yeah, Vyadika, the Pali word. Because arising in front of heart, Vyabhara, feeling, painful feeling, resulting from unprofitable karma, from those half feeling, and then for complete immunity. The second reason that there are two kinds of reason to use medicine. The second reason for complete immunity, for complete freedom from pain, so that all that is painful is abandoned is the meaning. This is how this value consistent and requisite conclusion for that should be understood. In brief, its characteristic in the use of requisites after wise reflection. So in this way, we can understand. He had the commented venerable Buddha. Firstly, he made there are four kinds of Samvara Sila, Indriya Samvara Sila, Varisuri Sila, Visyasana Sila. And then he got into Bhantes. He explained events on Pali that he made comment. And then the venerable Buddha, he will continue how to undertake these four kinds of value. Four kinds of value in one by one he will explain. So that is why the end Visuddhi, whenever we explain Sila, especially we always reference these four kinds of value. So that is why these four kinds of value, the Venerable Buddha, he explained in detail. So that is why these four kinds of requisite not yet finished. Another next week we'll continue how to undertake these four kinds of requisite to be purified. So now and then time's up.
စာဓုဆရာတော်ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်ဆရာတော်
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you,
listening.
Master.
Yes,
Sayadaw.
Thank you so much, Sayadaw.
Thank you Sayadaw.
yes. To make conclusion, let's recite Buddha Sadhana 3 times. Buddha Sadhana Jiran Sadu, Buddha Sadhana Jiran Sadu, Buddha Sadhana Jiran Sadu, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. See you next week.
เป็นบาพยา